Hello everyone, welcome to JCE Connect. So in this session, we'll start with the earthwork, right? So especially this earthwork which is used in the construction of the road work. As we all know that this earthwork is one of the major works which is involved in the road construction, and it involves the removal of the topsoil along with any vegetation and before scrapping and grading the area to the finished formation level. So in simpler words, this earthwork means what? So during in the extensive survey part and all, we have done a certain survey in the highway project. So in that highway project we will come to know that the elevation of that ground, or else even in other words we can say that we will come to know that exact ground profile of that space where we are going to construct the road. I mean the how exactly the elevation, right? So after knowing that, we will come to know that how exactly we need to do the earthwork, where exactly we need to cull, I mean we need to cut that portion, and where exactly we need to fill that, right? So so how much portions we need to cut and how much portions we need to fill that one at the downgrade level of the elevations and all, right? And this is done by using the different equipments which is used in the road constructions. We will study one by one now. And then again the earthwork we can see in the part of embankment also, right? So here embankment, which is nothing but whatever the side slope you can see just beside the road constructions here, right? So that part. So to construct that embankment also, we need to go for the earthwork. Okay, so now we'll start with the first earthwork in embankment, right? And here first we'll see what is an embankment. So here an embankment which refers to a volume of earthen material that is placed and compacted for the purpose of raising the grade of a roadway above the level of the existing surrounding ground surfaces. So here, so the main advantage of providing this embankment, that is the level of this embankment, it should be either upward than the top surface of the road, or else might be it should be downwards from the surface course, because here this embankment which is going to give a certain supports to the top layer as well as that entire layers of the construction. So here how exactly the earthwork can be carried out in the embankment part. So here the obtained materials such as soil which is used for the embankment from the approved sources. So here whatever the material we are going to use in the construction of the embankment, so that one it should be approved from the sources. So approved from the sources in the sense, so they need to check the materials, and they are going to certify whether these particular materials having certain properties or not, whether based upon that property they will decide whether this soil which is fit for to construct the embankment work or not. So that one we will come to know based upon the different test which is conducted on the those embankment material. So first we should get approval from the sources, and then we should go further with the construction. Now the preference should be given to the materials that are suitable and become available from nearby road excavations. So because here, so whatever the material which is required to construct this embankment, so that will be bit huge in its quantity. So we need to select the materials in a such a way that it should be easily available and it should be nearly available to the construction location, because ultimately we need to construct an economic road such that we need to follow all the criteria even with respect to the cost. So if that material which is required to construct this embankment, that one we are bringing from one place to another one place, so that time it is required, first of all it is required in a huge quantity, and there if it is in a huge quantity, then the transportation cost also it will get increases. So we need to select the materials for this embankment work such that it should be nearly available for the road excavation. And here, after clearing the site, the mark the limits of an embankment by the fixing batter pegs. So here, before constructing the embankment, first we need to clear that particular site, and then we need to mark where exactly those embankment will come. So what is the slope, what is the thickness of that embankment, so each and everything we are going to mark temporarily in the construction site. So that marks it can be done by using the batter pegs. So here you can see the batter pegs in this image. So this whatever the wooden strips you can see here, so by using this we can measure the exact length of that, the height of the embankment compared to the existing road level, and then what will be the exact slope. So we are going to mark temporarily by using these batter pegs, right? And here, and marking toe lines on the both the sides of the regular intervals as guides. So here, this by using this batter packs, we need to give those particular details such as that markings and all to the both the sides of the road construction, right? And this one it is going to be carried out at a regular intervals. It is not only going to be provide this batter packs at one place, so depends upon the elevation of the road, and even the with respect to the ground level profile, this embankment length as well as the slope also it will get vary, right? So because of that we need to provide this batter packs at the regular intervals. And now the embankment shall be built sufficiently wider than the specified formation width so that the surplus material at the edge may be trimmed to ensure proper compaction of the edges and side slopes. So here the embankment whatever we are going to construct, it should be sufficiently wider, because so ultimately whatever the load which is coming and whatever the width of the road it is going to be construct, so entire load it is going to be carried out by using this embankment, right? So here, and after providing a certain layers, after providing these slopes by using the batter packs and all, we can be suggest that the further procedure of this construction of the road embankment, right? And here, after providing this specified formation width, the surplus material whatever the additional materials are there at the edges part, easily we can be trimmed off, because we don't know that exactly at what height we are going to construct, exactly at what slope we are going to construct that embankment, right? So once if it is fixed by using this batter pegs, so that additional material or else whatever the extra portion of the materials which is placed in the place of the embankment, easily we can remove it off, right? And here you can see the diagram of this embankment, the side slopes what you can see here. So this one it is considered as the embankment, right? So it is going to resist some part of the load which is applying laterally. Now the next part, remove the water stagnant, the stagnant water if anything is there from the foundation of the embankment. So here you can see here this foundation of the embankment, usually at the slope place, if any water which is placed at the place of the foundation of the embankment, so that time first we should drain off that entire water if it is present just beside the foundation of this embankment, and then we should move further with the construction part, right? Because if the construction is carried out at the same place, even though if it is having the water, that time by reacting with the water might be the strength or work it may get difficult to complete, and in some cases that water which may changes this entire property of the embankment. And here where the available material such as soil, which are not conducive to plant growth. And in some cases, the topsoil from the areas of cutting and areas to be covered by the embankment, it should be stripped to a specified depth, not exceeding 150 mm, right? So here what they are telling, so whatever the excavation they are going to do, that depth of a embankment where exactly it is going to be construct, it should not be that depth, it should not be exceeding that 150 mm. Okay, and here you can see this, that color indication of these slopes, right? So this is a topsoil, I mean the top layer of the embankment, and here after that it will come with the shoulder part. So this strip what you can see here just beside this black top layer, so it will become the shoulder, and after the shoulder that slope of the embankment will get provided, right? And in some cases what it happens, even it may help in the drainage part of the rainwater also. And here after removing the topsoil, so while constructing the embankment we are going to dig that particular soil or else the earth. So after removing this particular topsoil, that unsuitable material such as the foreign materials and all, that materials we need to remove, right? And foundations for the embankment construction shall be prepared as follows. Okay, so we need to separate out the foreign materials such as the pebbles will be there, rocks will be there. In some cases after the excavation part we need to remove those all foreign materials, sometimes the vegetations will be there. So this all it is going to be affect in the construction of the embankment. So we need to separate out from the original soil, I mean the original topsoil. So here the whatever the foundations we are going to decide in the construction of this embankment, right? So that construction process which is followed with a certain conditions, that is the first case, for an embankment which is less than 1 meter height over the natural ground. So understand the condition here. So here suppose think that the road surface which is there at the ground level, right? And the embankment height it is assumed as 1 meter, right? So in such cases, I mean as per the design you are going to provide, I mean you are going to design the height of that embankment also, right? So here for embankment less than 1 meter height over the natural ground, right? So the ground surface should be loosened up to a minimum depth of 150 mm. So here in the first case, if the embankment height which is less than 1 meter with compared to the natural ground, so during that cases we need to loosen up that particular soil up to a depth of minimum depth of 150 mm. So by using different process, that is ploughing and then scarifying. So here you can see this ploughing is nothing but what, it's just like the loosening of that soil, right? So and scarifying in the sense, the scarifying is nothing but the top layer of the bitumen or else whatever the soil layer is there, it is going to be loosened up, right? And compacted to a specific density. So later we need to compact that one by using the mechanical rollers such that it should be achieve that specific density which is required for the embankment construction, right? And these are the two process of this ploughing and scarifying. And for the next case, that is for embankment which is less than 0.5 meter height over the existing blacktop or gravel road. So first case that was for 1 meter height. So here the second condition, this embankment which is less than 0.5 meter height over an existing blacktop, that already constructed road will be there. So there we need to construct the embankment. So that time if that height is less than 0.5 meter height, and then that black topping shall be removed. So whatever the black topping you can see in the figure here, so this one we have to remove first, right? So this black topping first we need to remove, and then we should start with the further part. And that black topping shall be removed, and the pavement or gravel road should be scarified to a minimum depth of 150 mm. So after this particular top layer, you will be having a base course, sub base course, and so many layers, right? So in that case, we need to loosen that layer of which is made up of the gravel road, right? So that one we need to scarify up to a minimum depth of 150 mm. So that gravel road, whatever which is there just behind, just beneath the top layer. So after loosening that top layer, even we need to scarify that gravel road up to a minimum depth of 150 mm, right? So here the all the particles, it should be reduced to a minimum size of 75 mm and compacted. So here whatever the materials we are going to use at the second conditions, where the embankment height is less than 0.5 meter height, so there the materials used in these conditions, it should be 75 mm will be the maximum size, and it should be well compacted without consisting of any voids within its structure. And third condition, that is, if the granular or black topped surface lies within the 0.5 meter and 1 meter of the new subgrade level, the same should be scarified to a depth of at least 50 mm. So here they have given the conditions, that is, if the granular or black topped surface which is lies within the 0.5 meter to 1 meter, so in that case, that whatever the new subgrade level is there, so for that the same should be scarified, but that depth will be 50 mm for achieving a bond between old and new material. So in this case, if we are placing the new layers, so that time directly we can't place that one on black topped surfaces, that is on the existing surfaces. First we need to dig that, and we need to loosen that materials, and we should compact that one well, such that whatever the new top layer is about to come, so entire load whatever which is coming on that new black top layer, so it should be easily transferable to those different layers, right? So this is the earthwork in embankment. And the next condition, that is, if the existing surface is of cement concrete type and lies within 1 meter of the new subgrade level, the same shall be removed completely. Here also we need to remove that top layer, and then we should compact, and then we should place the new layer. And here the size of the base course material in the mixture of earth which is used for the embankment construction should be coordinately not exceeding 75 mm. So here whatever the material we are using, that is soil and all, so that soil, it should not be having larger size than the 75 mm, means it should be within that 75 mm itself. And then the soil should be spread over the entire depth of the embankment in the layers not exceeding 150 mm compacted thickness. So here whatever the material we are going to use in the construction of an embankment, so that one, it should be spreaded over the entire width. So here we are going to decide the width of the embankment also, but here that embankment layer, it should not be exceeding 150 mm, right? The width of that embankment layers, it should not be exceeding 150 mm compacted thickness. So after certain compaction, it should not be exceeding this 150 mm thickness. And here after that, we have studied about the different conditions in the embankment. So based upon the different conditions, we will select which one we need to refer for which conditions. And after that, the compaction of the soil, it should be done at optimum moisture content with a tolerance limit of plus or minus 2%, right? So to measure to achieve the maximum dry density, the amount of compaction as well as the water cement ratio is much required parameters, right? So in this case, that compaction of the soil, it should be done at the optimum moisture content. So just by adding the optimum moisture content, we can achieve the maximum dry density, right? So that optimum moisture content, they are having certain limitations with a certain tolerance limit, that is plus or minus 2%. And second point, that is each layer it should be compacted to at least 97% of the standard Proctor density. So here we need to compact the soil in a such a way that it should achieve the 97% of the standard Proctor density. If the standard Proctor density has to be achieved 100%, but here in the field we need to achieve up to 97% such that we can deliver that one for the traffic. I mean, it will be open for the traffic. So here, that whatever the standard Proctor density they have given, if it is with 100%, we need to achieve minimum 97% there. So like that, we need to do the compaction and we need to add the optimum moisture content value to the top layers, I mean to the soil. And next, we need to ensure that the longitudinal and cross profiles should be conformly with the approved drawings. So here in this case, we need to mark those markings with different layers. So that one we should be followed as per the approved drawings. So there you will come to know the cross profiles of that embankment, so that where at which place how much thickness of the embankment will be there and how exactly we need to construct that. So each and everything has to be followed just by using the approved drawings. And here the next point, that is approval of engineer should be obtained for each finished layer, and the subsequent layer shall be placed only after the finished layer has been tested and accepted by the engineer. So here every layer it is tested and monitored by an engineer. So before going for the next layer, the contractor or else whoever is going to be construct that embankment has to be get signed by the engineer there, right? So the concerned engineer who is authorized for that work, so he need to sign on those particular works, means excuse. So in this case, he need to supervise that each and every layer of an embankment such that no fault should be arised at the later conditions, right? So every layers has to be checked and verified by the engineer, and then he need to accept for the results. And here when an existing embankment or subgrade is to be widened and its slopes are steeper than 1 vertical to 4 horizontal. So here they have given the condition, if already one embankment is placed just beside the road construction. So during that time, if that slopes which are steeper than 1 vertical to 4 horizontal, and here the continuous horizontal benches each at least about 300 mm wide and should be cut into the old slope. So just by referring this diagram, this is the existing one, that is 1:4 slope of this embankment. So if this one has to be widened, so that time we need to dig up to we need to increase that one up to a 300 meter wide, and later we can cut into the old slope. Okay, and this is about the earthwork in embankment. Next, earthwork in cutting, right? So cutting is usually takes place where the ground profile is higher than the designed road profile, right? So here how exactly this earthwork can be carried out in the cutting part of the soil. So here after the site clearance, the limits of excavation should be set out with a true to lines, curves, slopes, grades and cross-sectional as known on the drawings just by constructing reference pillars, back cutting lines and reference lines. So here the first point, first we need to do the site clearance, right? Just by digging that, we need to separate out the vegetations and other foreign materials, and then the limit of excavation should be set out with the true to lines, because at a certain places that depth has been given under restriction. Only that much depth we need to dig there, I mean we need to excavate there, because after that the certain other layers, I mean some optical fibers may come, some other telephone wires may come. So during that case it is going to be again dangerous for other departmental works. So whatever the constructing work is there with the road pavements, so it should not disturb other layers. So depends upon that limitations of the depth, we need to check it out where exactly which other cables are going to be come at the part of excavation, right? And again we need to mark the curves where exactly the road is going to be take a curve, and where exactly it is going to provide certain slopes and grades and cross sections as known as on the drawings. So initially we need to do the survey in a such a way that where we will come to know that the profile of those cross sections, so how exactly the elevation of that ground is there, right? So whether it is with slopy areas, such as how exactly you can see the hilly areas and all, so that time we need to level those particular surfaces such that it should be flat enough. Okay, and we will consider these all aspects such as the initial drawing lines and then curves, slopes as per the drawings, right? And here the back cutting lines, as well as even we will place the reference lines also. Then second point, if directed, the topsoil shall be stripped to a specified depth and stockpiled for reuse. So in some cases, if the higher profile elevations are there, that time the topsoil we can be cut off, right? I mean the stripped off, and that one we can be used for the further road constructions. Might be anywhere it is required in the part of filling, there also we can use that. So we need to stockpile at a particular place such that it can be easily reusable in some conditions, right? So it's like whatever the cutting and filling is there, it should be done within that particular limits. So here after the cutting we need to be placed that one at the certain places which is nearby to that road constructions, because it should be economical in its condition. In some cases only cutting is going to be carried out, so that time again it is waste, because that after that cut material we need to dump that one at the required location, again the transportation cost will get increased. But here again if it is only filling is required, in some cases we need to bring some materials from other sources, that time again it increases the transportation cost and it will become uneconomical in its project work. So that cutting and filling can be done within that particular limits such that we can be reusable those soil in the road constructions. And next, that is excavation shall be done manually or mechanically using the dozers. So if the excavation is with less work, we can use that one by using the locally available labors, or else if the excavation work is too lengthy, that time we can use the equipments, I mean the construction equipment such as dozers and all, right? And see, after the excavation the sides of the excavated area should be trimmed and the area counter to minimize erosion and ponding, which is allowing the natural drainage to take place. So here after that excavation, that whatever the sides of the excavated area is there, that one it should be trimmed off, and the area counter to minimize the erosion. So there after the excavation part it should not be comes under with the corrosion. In some cases what it happens, after the excavation part, if suddenly rain comes, so whatever that excavated soil is there, so due to that rainfall, again easily it can be filled in the same excavated part. So we need to take care a lot in some conditions. And next part, that is the cross drainage works such as like scuppers and small culverts, that is 1 to 2 meter span, and the side drains shall be constructed along the formation cutting work. So here you can see this is a example for scuppers, how exactly to drain off the rainwater from the existing road surfaces, right? So here even it can be used in the part of this cutting also. So after the excavation, if you have provided a certain drainage system there, so whatever the stagnant water is there on that excavated layer, it can be easily drained off. Or else again we need to bring the pump, again we need to lift that water, again that cost of the pumping will be increases, again it will leads to the uneconomical in its work. And in some cases even we can provide small culverts up to a 1 to 2 meter. Here you can see the culverts, that is just to pass the water from one place to one side to other side. And then the further part, that is the cut formation, which will serve as a subgrade, that should be checked for its fill density. So whatever the soil which is used in the earthwork, so that one it should comes with a field density test. And if the field dry density of the material in the top 300 mm portion is less than 100% of a maximum proctor density. So here they have given the condition, that is the first 300 mm portion of that layer, so whatever the earthwork it is going to be carried out, so that first 300 mm layer, the top 300 mm layer, it should be satisfying 100% of the maximum proctor density, not even 99. So it should achieve 100% of the maximum proctor density at the formation level. And here the formation material shall be loosened to a depth of 500 mm and compacted in a layers to achieve 100% of standard proctor density. So that time again we need to dig and we need to increase that depth, we need to loosen that, again we need to compact, and then we need to get a standard proctor density up to 100%. And in hilly areas, that cutting should be done from the top to bottom, because in hilly areas entire thing one sides will be with a certain inclination slopes. So that time we need to done a certain cutting, it can be done from top to bottom portion. So here we need to take the special attention such that it should be paid to side slopes and side drains in cutting, because we don't have any supports to rest the equipments there. So entire thing it is with the slopy sides only. So that time we need to take care a lot while placing any particular equipment just to go for that excavation part, right? So we need to provide a certain better platform for the equipments, those who are working in that road constructions. And last point of this slide, that is rock when encountered in road excavation, it shall be removed up to a formation level. So if the rock is coming at the part of the excavation, so that time we need to bring that one, we need to remove that one up to a formation level. So here after the cutting and filling we'll get certain the formation level, so up to a that particular height we can fill and we can cut and we can fill that, right? So here that rock has to be removed up to a formation level, and then we need to level that one by using the some other stabilized soils. And where the unstable shales or the other unstable materials are encountered at the formation level, then these shall be excavated to an extent of 500 meter below the formation level. So in some cases, for example, shales and all got occurs in that layers, during the excavation part, if you got shales and all, that time it is usually an unsuitable materials. So that time again we need to dig up to a 500 mm below the formation level. So further part of this earthwork in cutting, in some cases such as in rocky formation, the surface irregularities shall be corrected with a granular base material to achieve the specified profile and levels. So in some cases the rocky formations are there, So soon after the excavation, it touches the hard rocks. So that time the surface irregularities, it shall be corrected. I mean, we need to provide the plain surfaces on the rocky areas also. That one it can be done by using the granular base materials, so that we can achieve the flat profile on that layers. And here in some cases we need to remove that rocky formations by using the blasting process and all. So that time where the blasting is involved for the rock cutting, that guidelines have been given under the subsection 304 shall be followed. So here they have given certain guidelines that where exactly we need to place the blasting materials, and how much quantity we need to place, and the other guidelines such as whatever the precautions we need to consider before blasting process. Those all things it has been given in the subsection 304, and as per that we need to follow the specifications as well as the guidelines in the blasting process. And here the excavation in marshes, I mean, it's like a loose sandy soil. It shall be begin at one end and the proceed in one directions across the entire marsh, which is immediately ahead of backfilling to ensure complete removal or displacement of the muck. So here we can't place that marshes, that is marshy sand, for some other work, because it is the loose, since it don't have a standard strength, so it is going to be not much useful in the filling part. So that time we can be remove it off by dumping that one at the required location. And here in some cases for widening of any existing pavement, the existing shoulders it shall be removed to their full width and up to a subgrade level to ensure proper compactions in the widened portions, right? Thank you.